excited a couple of years ago when the nursing program who had started this healthy aging really was called the SHARP program, and Katerina graduated from that program. They really didn't want to maintain the program, and I was very happy to adopt it and bring it under our wing of under health education. And then Anne Marie and I got together with the memory care program. And so what we have developed, and you all have one of these brochures, is we have an approved by the Chancellor's Office, which is a really important thing, an AA degree program. And in this brochure it talks about the classes that are required and so forth. In developing this AA degree program, we also worked with Antioch to make sure that any students that wanted to make the pathway there, which she will talk about, these classes will all transfer and count. So we have a couple of different avenues for our students: AA degree, and then go to employment, AA degree, pathway to Antioch, AA degree, and transfer to another college in the state. So we have several ways that our students can actually move into either the workforce or into continuing education. So with that, I'm going to stop. I've got a lot of exciting things. I'm very excited about our program. We have a great task force that works with us to help develop this. But you can talk to me about that later if you're interested in more of the educational opportunities we have.
Sure. I'm Nancy Nassar. I'm a 2014 graduate of Antioch's Healthy Aging program.
I'm Elizabeth Wolfson. I'm the chair of the Master's in Clinical Psychology program at Antioch with the Healthy Aging concentration as part of that program.
And I'm Katerina. As Kathy has mentioned, I have graduated from the SHARP program, and I'm in the elderly care field as the administrator of 4 6-bed facilities in Santa Barbara.
And I'm Marie Kopeikin. I'm the director of the Vocational Nursing Program and also the author of the Memory Care Program. I did that on a sabbatical a few years ago.
I'm Daniel Newton. I'm a vocational nursing student here at Santa Barbara City College, and I've taken the Healthy Aging course and the Memory Care Program.
And I'm Peggy Buchanan, the director of the Fitness, Aquatics, and Physical Therapy Department at Vista del Monte Retirement Community, and our fitness center is open to over 350 outside community member seniors in Greater Santa Barbara.
So would you like to talk a little bit about what you do?
No. I do it all the time now. Yes, I love that. Every single one of us have an incredible opportunity to impact your own health. And I always say the way we're going to age has everything to do with the way you used to be. So what you're doing right now, 30 minutes ago you were younger than you are now. So we're all aging. It's not a group that we work with or a group that lives over there. It's all of us. And how we take responsibility for that will impact the industry as to how we're going to be cared for if needed, or how we can provide care for others. And the one thing that's probably kept me in this field, I've been in fitness decades, but is the single most powerful impact we have on healthy aging is activity. Nutrition's great, socialization is great, education, intellectual is great, but I'm telling you, if you can keep people vertical and moving, we will keep them healthier longer, both mentally and physically. And what I've learned through in and out the fitness industry in all of these years is there's also more to a fit person than just a physical body that can move vertically in the right direction. We're now incorporating at Vista del Monte the 6 dimensions of whole person wellness. So we're really not just offering fitness that's easy and fun to do and keep older adults active for the longest amount of time possible and keep them independent for as long as possible through activity. But we're incorporating the social, the intellectual, the emotional, the vocational, all the dimensions, and the spiritual that really help to make up the whole well person. And I think that's what's kept me most interested is there's more to biceps than we used to think in the fitness industry. I grew up in the industry way back when there was no gain without pain, and go for the burn, and your focus was a body. And we really didn't pay much attention to the head that was on the body. And so now, having been in the industry for as long as I have, I see how much your whole person means to you staying healthy and well. And because I work with this era, older adults that I work with at Vista del Monte, the average age is about 86 to 88. And that age group didn't grow up like you and I with gyms and fitness programs as part of your everyday being. Most of us get up and we think about, what are we going to do for exercise this week? Well, that population doesn't necessarily. In fact, they grew up with, when I retire, I get to sit. And I don't have to do a lot anymore. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is sitting is as close to smoking in terms of health ramifications. So the minute any of us, youth, middle age, whatever, become sedentary, everything starts to downward spiral. I mean, we lose our muscle mass, we lose the integrity of our bones because there's lack of muscular strength on bone, our circulation, everything starts to go downhill. So we need to create and make programs that stimulate people to want to keep moving. And it's not easy for older people because of the different things that happen as we age. We start to become, it's harder to move. It could be more painful to move for a myriad of reasons. So we take our fitness background and our understanding and we modify and make things comfortable and inviting so that we can keep people engaged. And I think that's why I've stayed in the field for so long. Started teaching high school physical education at all 3 local high schools. And now I'm at a senior high school and loving it and realizing the types of things that make them excited about movement are the same things that stimulate you and I. If it's fun, if it's interesting, if it's convenient, you'll do it, and so will they. So it's stimulating for me to keep coming up with new ideas. How do we make that more fun, interesting, and incorporate movement? So the more we can keep people moving, the longer they will stay independent for the rest of their life and have optimal lifestyle. There you go.
You can be in hospitals, you can be in rehab, you can be in assisted living, you can be in facilities as wonderful as Vista del Monte. You can be in private practice, you can be in a cancer center, substance abuse programs, rehabilitation centers, family service agencies, the Alzheimer's Association. I mean, the list goes on. And the truth is, you can be anywhere because everywhere we work with people, people age. And everywhere we work with people, somebody knows somebody who's aging. And I think the statistic is that 78% of women in their lives will end up caregiving. It is mostly women. So those are the people you'll be helping as well.
It's a skill set, you know, I mean, dealing with people, you know, who have memory issues, that's a skill set that everybody needs. And so you don't have to be in the hospital, you don't have to be in her RCFE. You could be at Starbucks, you know, the EMTs need that, the police officers need that. And to me, everyone should have the skill set. If they talk about everyone having Algebra 2, it's like, no, we don't need Algebra 2. We need memory care because we want to be able to talk to people and to help them. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, anyway, but it's a wonderful skill set and we teach it really well here.
Really, there are no city colleges that have a memory care program, and as most of you guys, maybe you don't know, but you probably should know, our population is aging, and it's aging rapidly. All the baby boomers, what is it, like 10,000 a day are turning 60. 10,000 a day are turning 60. And so, you know, we're looking at meeting the needs of people who are older and who develop dementia. And dementia is one of those diseases. It's not a disease of aging, but it is related to age. And so we had to have something that would address the issues of that population. And I'm the vocational nursing director, and I worked in the CNA program, and we touch on that. But as one of my students in the VN program who graduated and who is in the memory care, she goes, you know, Anne Marie, in your VN program, I really learned about what Alzheimer's is. But in the memory care program, I really have learned how to approach those patients and really how to care for them. So it's two components, and I'm so excited about it. There's the basics, Memory Care 105, and then there's the second component, which is 106, and I don't know if you have a brochure, but the 106, and I love this one, and it's compassionate communication for caregivers, the art of connecting in a caregiving relationship, because we want people to connect. It's a partnership. And so I had so much fun writing this. And then, we have actually the person who is now teaching it, Michelle Laney is in the audience. But we're just really lucky here. And so worked with Kathy O'Connor in making this as part of the keystone of this whole healthy aging. And I have required it because I really think that we need to develop a caregiving force who can meet the needs of this population. And so I've now made that as a requirement for my BN program. That is one of the requirements. And as well as the healthy aging, how do we address the issues of people as they age without dementia? And so they have those two courses, and of course, when you have completed those two courses, you can come into our BN program, but you don't need to. There's a nursing component, and if you feel like, yes, I want to be a nurse, which, I recommend it. I've been a nurse for 38 years and love it, and still love it. But you don't have to be, because as ladies from Antioch are here to tell you, there is so much more out there in dealing with these populations and meeting their needs. Okay, so anyone who goes through our memory care program here at Santa Barbara City College, it is completely free. Everything is paid for. You get your books, your uniform, your your background checks, and your fees. So we were just really fortunate to have Mr. Arthur Roop, who supported us for 3 years. So you've got another year, and please make sure that you think about it and possibly apply.
So if somebody applies for 2016-17, you're saying that would be paid for?
Yeah, we still have for next year. We were going to have for summer, but we're not having a summer course. But there's 2 classes, and we only accept 20 people per class. And so we have 20 in the fall and then 20 next spring. Completely, you don't pay a penny.
So you don't have to be part of the nursing program to take those
Absolutely
classes?
not. Absolutely not. Now, I encourage people who want to go into nursing, they should, because, you're going to be dealing with this population. And that's the beauty of it. And I designed it so that you didn't need to know anything, and you didn't have to there's no prerequisites. It's a standalone course, and so you just come in, you sign up, and then there's a whole application process. And so, yeah.
We found out about the memory care program was I was here to apply for the LVN program, and I ran into Michelle, and she said, "Hey, you're applying for the LVN program. We're starting this memory care program. Do you want to try it out?" And I said, "Sure, why not? It sounds like fun." And from there, I learned so much. There's just so much. We get to do clinicals, we get to do labs and all that stuff. We get to learn all about it. But like Anne-Marie said, other classes, they just mention what dementia is, but we don't really learn about how to deal with those patients, how to communicate with them, how to approach them. It's a whole different scene, it's a whole different scenario. So that program really heightened how to do it. And made me a little bit more confident when I had to run into it. Even in the LVN program, we see a lot of it.
So you feel like it really built up your confidence?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So I noticed you have a name tag on today, so that's your student working.
Can
you talk a little bit about what you're doing right now? And are you using your classroom knowledge in your day-to-day?
Oh yeah, every day. So far I haven't run into any patients as an LPN student. So right now we go to class Monday through Wednesday, Then we do lab, and then Wednesday afternoon, we do a data collection for clinicals where we go to a facility. I'm currently at Vista Del Monte.
Oh.
And Thursday and Friday, we deal with, we get assigned a patient, now we're being assigned two, and we take care of them, we just do all their daily living, all their, in the memory care program, we did all of our clinical work in dementia wards and Alzheimer's wards, and we saw a lot of it, got a lot of hands-on experience with it. For the healthy aging, I use that every day because we're all using it. We're all in skilled nursing facilities, and just different things that affect us when we're younger, and what we do when we're younger affects us when we're older. And you see a lot of the osteoporosis and different lifestyles that affect how people walk and move.
So I would like to move on to Elizabeth, who's with Antioch, and if you could talk about your program and how it's connected to the college and all that.
So the kinds of jobs you can get if you get through all this, City College, and I'll tell you how to do it in a really easy way, and a way that is going to save you a lot of money. City College into our BA program at Antioch and into our Master's in Clinical Psychology program, you will be completely prepared to start the Healthy Aging concentration with that kind of solid foundation. Our program started, it's relatively new. You are the first graduating class. Started 5 years ago. Building on what you've all said already, I mean, it is the fastest growing, most underserved population in the world. Okay, if you get your hands around that, and it's just growing and growing exponentially, and on top of that, you've got not just the elders, but people who care for elders who need care. So our program is really about elders and their families. And should you get through this, your job will be to support those people in whatever ways they need support. The elders, the families, the kids, the adult children, the couples, all of it. And we do groups as well. So the concept was, how do we help these people? We train therapists in clinical psychology, and most of our graduates go on to get their MFT licenses, marriage and family therapy licenses. And yet there are very few places in the country that actually have a specialization in elder care and in healthy aging. And the concept, actually the name, came from my feeling that why are we always talking about the bad stuff with aging? You know, and it's a turn off for students. Like, oh, aging is horrible. We were just talking about our gray hair and our wrinkles. You know. And yet there's so much beauty in aging, and so much wisdom, and so much joy in working with people who have moved through life, and in helping people with their vulnerabilities and their struggles. And so what I wanted to do was to help us focus on the positives. And say, what's good about aging, and what are the strengths that people bring to that situation, and how can we train other people to help those people. So that's really where it came from. And the approach is integrative. We look at the medical model, we look at the mind, body, the spirit, we look at the family, we look at their socioeconomic status, their religion, their race, everything that happens to a human being are things we look at and talk about. And I know Nancy will talk in a minute about sort of the content of the classes. So coming out of our program, you would have a master's degree in clinical psychology with a specialization in healthy aging, and so that you then become seen in the community as a person who is specially trained in this area of expertise, and you will be rare, and people will snap you up because there are so few of us around. So how we get there, we've had this wonderful partnership and conversation with SBCC and created a pathway. And the pathway makes it easy. You will get credit from your courses here in addition to content, real good learning. You'll get credit at Antioch. We accept up to 80 semester unit credits. And if you enter Antioch on the BA level, and you know that you want to continue on for your master's in clinical psych with a concentration in healthy aging or in our other concentrations or our other program, you will get an award of $1,000. And should you continue on into the Master's in Clinical Psych program, you will also get $3,500. So we give you money for coming. Huh? Where do you hear that, right? And the other thing I just want to mention, and then I'll stop, because you know I could talk about this forever, because it's certainly my passion. I hope it becomes yours. is we're really just growing, and we've just built a wonderful partnership with a couple of agencies in town, Family Service Agency and the Alzheimer's Association. We've got a grant from the Santa Barbara Foundation. It was so thrilled with what we're doing, and the grant is to give you guys money if you come to school. You get a scholarship for doing your training part, because part of your education is actually in the agencies, in the organizations, working with real people. Don't get scared, we help you. So there's all kinds of ways that you can do this in ways that are financially feasible. And I'll just finish by saying I'm very proud of this partnership. I think SBCC is a wonderful place, great people, and I know that our faculty at Antioch are just amazing. And I say that it's not me, it's them. And the students, that's what they rave about. And so if you want more information, just come talk to me. We have our 2 admissions people in the back. Laura and Mary Lou are back there if you want to get the nitty-gritty details, but feel free to contact any of us.
Perfect segue to Nancy.
Okay, perfect. Well, as I mentioned, I graduated a couple years ago from the Healthy Aging program at Antioch, and what brought me there was an experience with my parents. My mother was diagnosed at 68 with Alzheimer's disease and had a horrible illness for 16 years. The last 5 years of their life, my parents moved from Chicago to California here to live with my husband and I. And as much as I felt I had read, I thought I'd read every book on Alzheimer's, I realized how much I didn't know. And those 5 years were some of the best years of my life, also some of the toughest years of my life. And my father ended up the last 2 years of his life with vascular dementia. So it was 5 years, and when they were gone, I found that there was a very empty feeling in being able to give an offer. And I thought, what do I do now? You know, I technically was a senior myself starting back. So I researched a lot of different universities for graduate programs, and I came to Antioch specifically because of the Healthy Aging program. As Dr. Wolfson said, we do have all the credits that a marriage and family therapist has, and in addition to that, we have 5 or 6 additional courses that are specific to an aging population. And I don't know that we have the time to go through all that covers, but it was very intensive, and those were the courses that I enjoyed the most. And I think that the learning approach at Antioch very much suited my learning style. It was interactive. We had a tremendous amount of reading. And then usually classes would start with the interactive section. We discussed what we had read for the week, for me that reinforced the learning, but it also helped to clarify anything I wasn't sure about. So depending on classes, we then oftentimes went into role play, which initially terrified me, was not something I thought I'd look forward to. But after a few months, I thought this is such great experience in that when you did well, you felt as though, oh, I might be good at this. And when you didn't, when you completely were off topic, it was a nice experience to learn that you had that feedback in a classroom setting as opposed to in front of a client you might be seeing. So at the end of our first year, we all had traineeships. I did mine here. I don't live in Santa Barbara. I live an hour and a half south, but I worked for the Center for Successful Aging. It's a nonprofit run by Gary Linker, and it is a wonderful learning experience. It's the nonprofit provides clients 50 and over 1-hour sessions. We did very few groups, but we did a lot of one-on-one, and that too was quite an experience for a student. You were doing the work, and you had the feedback from the supervision that he provided, as well as in our practicum classes that were oriented towards the older adult. So that was good learning. We usually make a year commitment to a traineeship. I ended up staying there because I loved it so much for 16 months. And then I decided it was time to get back home. to my area. So I went down and I now have an internship at the cancer support community of Ventura and Santa Barbara County. The model there is primarily group. I run 2 stage 4 cancer groups as well as a caregiving group. And I do initial intakes when clients come in. I also do one-on-one when people in the groups are having a particularly difficult time, they're referred by the facilitator, and I'm the only intern there at the present time. But I will say, and this I think is a credit to Antioch and its reputation, is they, down at Cancer Support, they had never accepted an intern out of UCLA's graduate program. And when I went in and applied, that was something I didn't know about, but I discussed with them the Healthy Aging program and my interests, and they were very impressed and immediately hired me. So the experience, I look back and I think our cohort was relatively small. The learning was terrific. We had lots of people come in, give presentations. We went to different instructors, if they had private practices, their offices, and we actually met clients and went through therapeutic counseling with them, observed. It was really, really good learning, and I think once all the work is done and you've graduated, you realize what you went through. So it was an experience I was very happy to have had, and I'd do it all over again.
Peggy, what kind of jobs or education would a person need to have in order to be hired at a company like yours to do the sorts of things that are going on at Vista?
Vista del Monte is somewhat unique. That's a very good question. It's somewhat unique because our fitness and aquatic center is open to the outside community. Most retirement communities are closed, meaning you've had to apply to move in and fulfill a certain monetary criteria and health interview and whatnot. And once you move in, it's a closed community, and the types of jobs that are in retirement communities are usually CNAs, certified nursing assistants. We have dining services, and most of our folks are young. A lot of them come from City College Culinary Program. We also employ the LV, and we've got quite a few. We've got Natalie, who came through your program as our director of healthcare. Hi, Sally! And all kinds of community members that are involved. And then we have a whole group of folks that are housekeepers and maintenance. So there's all kinds of opportunity within a retirement community. And these folks, even though they're specialized in their field of, say, maintenance or housekeeping or dining, they've got a special focus on how to make that career path work and benefit older adults. Fitness Center, on the other hand, we were unique in back in '97, the executive director where I am now is no longer there, but his vision was to stay on the cutting edge of retirement communities and build a fitness and aquatic center so that when you moved into a retirement community, it was thought of as an active movement to stay active and vibrant with your lifestyle, as opposed to the old school. You move into a retirement community, you sit, you park in front of a window, drool, and die. And so a home or a convalescent environment changed rapidly with our fitness and aquatic center and the fact that we were open to outside community. So with that said, further job opportunities at our retirement community would be group exercise leaders that are interested in working with older adults, personal trainers that want to work with older adults, pool classes, land classes, life enrichment programming, opportunity to involve people in intellectual experiences and social opportunities for programming. So there's all kinds of different pathways. What do you major in? There's really not a major. It's kind of until now, healthy aging, right. Yes. When I hire people, I don't necessarily look at credentials and degrees as much as I look at
how far would skills competency awards carry you?
It would get you in the door, and then I'm going to look at you and want to know how passionate you are to work with older people.
Yeah.
That's what moves me. That's something you can't teach people. So all these programs that are offered in our community give you the opportunity to practice that. And I think that's what I look at. How much experience do you have working with older adults, and what is that experience?
So, Katerina, you went through the SHARP program, which is a precursor to this Healthy Age and Memory Care program at City College. And now you're doing some really wonderful things, sounds like related to even what Peggy was talking about. So we'd love to hear about what you're doing.
Thank you. So just to tell you what I'm doing is my field is in the assisted living facilities. So this is unlike Peggy's settings where you have a larger community. We have a smaller group of residents who actually also live on the premises, and they're in a residential care home setting. So there are a maximum capacity of 6 residents, and they're there to, we're there to help them. So it includes different levels of care. It includes memory care. It includes the exercise program. And basically the goal is to allow residents to age in place and take care of them through the end of their life. With that, we do have hospice waivers and able to do that through the hospice agencies. We also work in relationship with Vista Del Monte and had a few residents going to the Aquatics Center. So it's always great to have that outreach and working with other communities and resources. And in terms of my experience, I have to say that when I was studying first City College here, and as I was trying to determine my career path, it has always led me to the field of where I am right now, the elder care. And I've been in this field as the administrator for now 8 years. And I have to say that it is such a great demand. And with the Healthy Aging program, you could be taking this the direction that you would want to see this happening. You will have such a great knowledge about different aspects of aging, different aspects of what this would imply to age gracefully, and you can then become almost like an advocate to how you want to take it further to this community or beyond. What's so remarkable is this is such a wide subject and such a wide area. If you, along the studies, will feel more connected to the field of nutrition, you can pursue that. Into the field of physical exercise or counseling. It really is allowing you to see where you would feel you would connect most with your skill sets, your interests. But I have to say the statistics are screaming loudly. I mean, this is such a huge demand. When I first opened the first facility 8 years ago, I thought this is all I will be doing. One home is more than enough. Just last December, I opened the 4th location, and I have my phone ringing. It's just incredibly how many elderly residents and this field itself, how much demand it's out there. So, and what's also unique, and please contribute to this train of thought if you support the idea, but what was the elder care before is so different what it's going to be again in the future. The conventional sense was let's train the person medically, let's show him the basic tools, he or she will assist an elderly, and that will be it. Right now it is so much more integrative. It's no longer enough to just cover the medical needs or to just do the basics. You have to look at all the aspects of what would it imply to have a quality of life when you are feeling deprived of all the activities you used to do. So the counseling part of it is a huge part. The holistic approach to this is vital. So in that case, SHARP program has really helped me to kind of look back to what I'm doing and to see how I can enhance it, or what I could implement that would really make a big difference to our elderlies and would also make the loved ones feel appreciative and happy for that. So we have integrated the daily exercise program. Activity is the key. That's something very, very important. We also put in stronger focus on nutrition, but also it's the social and spiritual aspect of it, or what a person used to do. So we work with a number of nonprofits, including Center for Successful Aging. We are so fortunate in Santa Barbara to have such a wide pool of different nonprofit organizations. So it's almost like you are becoming the advocate for the resident who moves in under your care, where you want to see what it is that will make them feel enriched, and how can you support that. So what I love about this field is not that you will have to worry about the career, or job in terms of where do I go, because the demand is only going to increase. But it also will give you the opportunity to discover your own talents and strength and see which way you would want to take it, and becoming the advocates and the catalyst for change in this field. So that. Mm-hmm.
Katerina, can you talk a little bit about when you graduated from City College, then what happened after that? 'Cause it sounds like
It's so interesting, and it's so interesting how this kind of is a full circle. When I first studied here, my degree was political science and international relations. I thought I'll be saving the world. This was and I'm from Russia, which was former Soviet Union, closed boundaries, closed mind of thinking. So I wanted to break all of this, and so that was Dr. Manu Skandari and Peter Haslin, they were my mentors. At some point I was a TA, and so I loved it. I was a student body president here, so it was just one of those things that I just loved City College. It was, ever since now, I come back to the campus and I feel I'm home. So it's, so I transferred to UCSB and finished my degree, Political Science International Relations, only then to discover, what do I do with it? So it's just like, so I carried with my passion of, learning more what's happening in the world, but it was not so practical. And it was at that point when I found out about Antioch, and I went to Antioch program, master's degree in organizational management. And I have to say a few kudos to Antioch. What really helped me is not only it was a very integrative also teaching style, but it also allowed me, the kind of schedule I had allowed me to work full time and to study and go to my master's program full time. So that really enhanced the opportunity to go more into what I thought business field. That would be something that I would know how to do and be more applicable in my skills. But ever since I was caring through my school, I was always a caretaker. And I was always in a field of caring for somebody. And it was also this college that I met another very dear mentor who ran a 6-bed facility. And so she was the one who opened that door for me, and I was living and helping them as a living caretaker in that particular facility that now I manage and own. Wow. So it really has brought it full circle to me, where I'm so grateful and appreciative how this has unfolded, and I feel kind of brought me back home to where I truly belong. So I'm very appreciative for that journey, and excited to see where this will take me. So it's
about 6 more care facilities, probably.
And I always misspeak. I said 6, and I'm a 4, and I always keep saying, and I'm thinking, what is this?
Yeah, so every job fair that we have through the Career Center here, we always have organizations that are looking for help in care facilities or retirement communities every single time. Right. So you can always find jobs in that field, like you were saying. Mm-hmm.
I think if I could add one thing, I think the baby boomers, of course, I guess Peggy and I are part of that group.
Are we the leaders?
I guess so. But it's a very different aging population. I've been teaching senior fitness classes for 30 years, and they've all gotten old with me. They're in their 80s, 90s. They're still doing all the stuff that we did when we started, and they're more demanding. I mean, they want to have a rich, full life. They're not going to go sit in a bed somewhere and watch television. A lot of aging people are healthy. They're healthy aging people. And so now what are we going to do for them?
Keep it that way through exercise.
And how do we promote that? And even if they live in a retirement community, they want to be healthy, active people. So it's not just caring for somebody who's sick, it's caring for these active baby boomers who want to have a rich, fulfilling life until the last day of their life. So that's what we want to provide the education to help them do that. And that's what we try to do in our programs, is actually show you what those different opportunities can be. And there will be many jobs available at different levels. Entry level, maybe not only needing, the minimum education like our program here, needing a bachelor's degree, needing the master's degree. It sort of depends on where you want to fall out in this profession.
There's a real discussion about the importance, or whether there is an importance, in having a niche, having a certain population you work with. You'll look at many marriage and family therapists and see they deal with all kinds of things, families, children, adults, seniors, depression, anxiety, and the list goes on and on. So how important is it to have a certain specific skill? And I have found that to be very valuable. And I know that when you're a student, you're thinking about, okay, when I finish the time, when I finish paying all the money, what do I have? What job is there for me? So if you're interested in therapy, I would say my experience with a healthy aging specialization, if you have the education and you also have the experiential experience working with the clients, you're able to put on a business card that you have a specialization in aging, issues of aging. And I've done very, very little self-promotion. I'm not licensed yet. I have another 6 months. But I went to a few oncologists. I went to a few gerontologists in our area. And I had more phone calls than you can imagine. So if that's an interest of yours, know there is a benefit to having a specialization.
Thank you. Well, I would like to say thank you to everybody. Let's give them a clap, and really appreciate you coming.